Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp, and the video you just seen is the Iranian military, and it was pretty much like a compilation of land, air, and sea military troops of the Iranians. And the reason why I put this out there as a video is because you have right now mainstream media, local media, all this rumors of wars of North Korea and Syria, and they're really just insignificant. Really, they're just like little chess pieces on this big chess that the Most High is playing. All right, Iran is where the biggest threat is at, according to the U.S. Military, according to the mainstream media. This is who they really want to take down. All right, why? Well, for once, Iran backs Russia. All right, Iran has a central bank. Okay, and most importantly, that's why I have this news article right here. Iran hates them fake ass Jews over there in Israel. All right, these Israelis, as they say this day and age. All right, so let me get into this news article, and we'll see where the spirit takes me, and is breaking us down that once again, North Korea, Syria, they're just small pieces in this big chess, okay, game, and Iran is the bigger threat, as well as Russia. So this article from the dailymail.com says Iran vows death to Israel as it unveils its latest missiles during National Army Day parades. But at least one looks like the North Korea's fake wonky rocket. And of course, that's just the Daily Mail being one-sided, because at the end of the day, the Daily Mail backs Europe, and America, Western society. So, you know, there's the unbiased, you know, and you have to take that into account. But it's great because you're seeing the mentality of the Iranians. They can't stand these fake-ass Jews, these Israelis, okay? So it's beautiful that that on their parade that happened, I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago, okay, that they said death to America. Now, the key point is right here. Missile with an anti-Israeli banner which read in Persian, keep that in mind, death to Israel, was part of displayed weapons, all right? So why would the Iranians be writing death to Israel in Persian? Well, because the Iranians used to be Persia, okay, for a very long time. And Persia is mentioned in the Bible, which we'll get to real quickly, okay? So let's get and continue on with this article. Iran has paraded a missile with the sign death to Israel attached to it during a huge military parade showcasing deadly weapons this morning. The ceremony was held in the capital of Tehran, and troops from all units, right, which says all units, so that means land, air, and sea, took part in the mark of National Army Day in the country. But one weapon in particular looked a lot like a North Korean missile, critics said was a fake at a similar parade. Now, excuse me, whether it would be fake or real doesn't really matter. Iran has nuclear capabilities, definitely. Why? Because Russia has consistently backed Iran, all right? Russia looks to Iran as a ways to make money, as also as an ally in terms of war and defense, okay? The noise of rockets mounted onto a bigger missile appears to be pointing skywards in the same way the North Korean weapons was comically built, which prompted people to take to Twitter to say it was an empty painted box. All right. Of course, you have North Korea celebrated the 105th anniversary of birth of the nation's founder, Kim II Sung, on the weekend, and also hosted a procession of weapons and soldiers marches. Right. So if you notice, a lot of these other nations are showing their military might, because the Lord has put the spirit on all these nations to get into the final combat. All right, to get into war. And you can read that in the book of Joel, chapter 3. In Iran, President Hassan Rouhani delivered a speech as a conveyor belt of military might was displayed to gather high-ranking officials and commanders. The parade included missiles, tanks, armored vehicles, rifles, unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, right? Americans will call them drones. Fighter jets, radar systems, and air defense missile systems, as well as soldiers in the latest camouflage gear. All right. So this is Iran bucking up, as well as saying, "Death to you, Israelis," in Persian. Okay, because at the end of the day, Iran and the Israelis have to go to war with each other to really start this third world war. Okay. And what coincides with that third world war is the RFID chip as well. All right. But that's for another topic. So now let's get to another article just to back this one up. Afghanistan. This is from Al Jazeera. A pawn in major power rivalry. Russia has sought the opportunity to expand its influence in Afghanistan at the expense of the United States. That's right. The mainstream media isn't even bringing this out. That there's Russian soldiers in Afghanistan. Okay? Russian influence in Afghanistan. Let's continue on. On Friday, Russia held a regional conference to explore the prospects for settling the long-running Afghanistan conflict. This follows a similar conference that Moscow held in February, which was preceded by a tripartite meeting between Russia, China, and Pakistan in December on the same subject. While the Afghan government was not invited to the first meeting, raising Kabul's the second one was expanded to include Afghanistan, Iran, and India. However, the United States, as main power in Afghanistan, has not been invited to any of these forums. So not only do you have in Afghanistan certain aspects of Afghanistan citizens involved in this meeting, you also have Iran in this meeting. Because once again, Russia and Iran are together. So let's get down to the point. This is going down. Let's get to the meat of it. Vladimir Putin leadership has since 2013 come to view that the Taliban are less of a danger than ISIL, given the former's opposition to the latter, and that the Taliban are likely to have a role in the future of Afghanistan. It has found it expedient to establish links with respective elements of the Taliban who are in turf war with ISIL operatives. Right, so now you have Russia backing the Taliban to overthrow ISIL as a means to counter ISIL. This is something that the Islamic Republic of Iran, nowadays a close friend of Russia, has also done for similar purpose. In 2015, Zamir Kabulov, Putin's special representative for Afghanistan, states that the Taliban's interests objectively coincides with ours. So now you have Russia and Iran backing the Taliban, okay? And who is the Taliban against? America. So you're having proxy wars in Afghanistan, okay? Another Russian objective is to limit the growth of narcotics trade from Afghanistan, the largest producer of heroin in the world. That's right, because if you do any type of investigation, it's America that's pushing the heroin out to the rest of the world, especially here in America, all right? In the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities, okay? Because these crackers, these so-called white people, if you haven't been paying attention, they're trying to destroy the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities because you are Jake. You are an Israelite, all right? Continuing on. The latter accounts for 20% of the $70 billion opiate market, with around 1.8 million injecting drug users in 2015, right? This is injecting everybody, all right? Around 90,000 Russians die from drug overdose, including heroin, every year. So that's the reason why the Russians are also getting involved. But that's just here and there because the Russians still play a little bit with the elites, and they still want to do depopulation. So they encourage the drug epidemic. Geopolitical influence. The third objective is to expand, this is the key point, Russian influence in the face of declining U.S. military involvement in Afghanistan, especially from the end of 2014 when the U.S. and its allies withdrew most of their troops from the country. The U.S. drawdown, without Washington achieving its original goal of transforming Afghanistan into an effectively viable and secure state, has opened an important arena for competition between different regional powers, leading to claims of new great game between Russia and the U.S. And that's really what it comes down to. So now the Russians are having a major influence in Afghanistan because America failed to capitalize in Afghanistan against the Taliban and now ISIL. All right, if you believe the mainstream media that America's going against ISIL, which is bullshit, but we'll say that for face value, right? We're going to continue on because I want to get to another point with the Iranians. See if they say any more on this. All right, that's done on that. So now let's get to the Washington Post. So now, just to recap, you have the Iranians and the Russians. They're in Afghanistan. Okay, they're also in Syria. And here is the title that I want to use because this is what influenced me to write this video. This is from the Washington Post. Now, if you've been living on the rock, the Washington Post is the elitist, one of the elites tool medias to use to project a propaganda. All right. So it says right here, Syria and North Korea are bit players. Iran is the bigger threat. And that's right. Because if America has any sense, which they do, because they know who they really want, they want to attack the Iranians, okay? Because Iran is a major player in this Third World War. Iran is a major player in trying to bring in what they call, the Americans want their New World Order, okay? So Iran still has their own central bank. Iran is still allies with Russia and is backing Assad. So you got a lot of that in playing in why Iran is the main threat. And also Iran has nuclear capabilities. So let me get to the bottom point of this, and then I'm going to get to the scriptures. The incoherence here is stunning. On one hand, we are properly worried over Syria and North Korea. Right. The mainstream media loves that Syria and North Korea are topics for war, which is great, you know, but they're just pawns in this. They're just insignificant. They're like the script, like this article says, they're just bit players. They're just little pawns, okay, little chess pieces in a bigger play. On the other hand, our current policy toward Iran, a much greater threat, is such that we are helping to rebuild and enrich a country that is supporting Assad, is exporting terrorism, is fomenting regional chaos, and, even without cheating, can eventually obtain nuclear weapons, which these nuclear weapons are going to be destined for them fake Israelis. We are concerned about the North Korea's puny and inept ballistic missile program, but have done nothing since pinprick sanctions to respond to Iran's illegal missile tests. We have lots of challenges to address, to be assured, but we shouldn't take our eyes off of the worst and most dangerous rogue state. You see that? Because at the end of the day, it's all about getting Iran. And this is where prophecy comes in. This is where the Bible comes in. Let's get in to the scriptures. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 1. And the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, and chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesied against it. And that's what we here at Great Millstone have been doing. We've been prophesying against all you nations, but we also prophesied against Russia, saying, hey, Russia, you're going to war in this Third World War. The Lord is pulling you back to your old days, to that old spirit where you're going to go and fight America and launch them nukes, whether you want to or not. You're going to, and the elite of Russia know the Bible, so they know that who the real Israelites are, and so they're in a panic mode, but they're being pushed to the point that they have to do this, and the Lord's gonna put the spirit on them to do it, because at the end of the day, the Lord's prophecy must come to pass. Okay, this is what the Bible is all about. Ezekiel 38 and 3. And say, thus saith the Lord power. That's right, we're saying to you Russians, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And you saw it. 2014, Crimea went back into Russia. You're seeing now a lot of the Eastern European states, they're looking at Russia more as an ally, and they're looking at the Europeans as a bunch of backstabbing, two-timing demons. You're devils, all right? And it's beautiful because the Lord is putting the hooks back into building that once again, the big Russian Empire, which was known as the Soviet Union, so on and so forth. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. Right, that's talking about the Russian military from land, sea, and air, as well as the intercontinental ballistic missiles. They're all getting prepared to go a war against America. Verse 5. And here's a point. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Right, and that's why, once again, you saw the article how Russia and Iran are allies. Iran is Persia. Hence the reason why they wrote in this article, just in case you forgot, Iran vows death to Israel. Missile with an anti-Israeli banner which read Persian, death to Israel. So what you're seeing, okay, is Persia, the Iranians coming back to their old self, which is the Persians, man. Okay. Ethiopia. What's going on in Ethiopia? Well, Ethiopia, all right, you could say there's also Sudan, because Ethiopia and Sudan are practically together. In fact, you can't even get into Sudan without getting through Ethiopia. And let me get you an article. U.S. sends regular troops to Somalia for first time since Black Hawk Down. So there you have it. You even have the Ethiopians getting riled up, because the Sudanese are a mixture of Ethiopians, the Arabs, okay, and as well as there's the Persians are there too, because Iran gives weapons to Sudan, to Somalia as well. So that's what you're having. So now you're having the Esau, the so-called white man, sending his troops into the Somalia, which are the Ethiopians. Okay, so you're seeing prophecy being fulfilled, and it's beautiful. And Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. That's Libya. Okay, you could look at Libya. All right, that's a mixture of the Arabs and the other nations. You could say Ethiopians, but Libya too, okay? All of them with shield and helmet. Verse 6. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Verse 7. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Right, so the Lord's telling them to get ready, be on guard, because you're about to go to war with America. All right, and you're seeing that. That's why the Iranians, the Russians, okay, you have Syria, all these Arab nations, they're getting ready to go to war with America. All right, because it's time. It's time for America to be judged. Verse 8. After many days thou shalt be visited in the latter days. Thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people. This is talking about America, against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste. But it is brought forth out of nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Right, mountains of Israel. Okay, and that's even which was, and it says, which have always been waste, and this is talking about the land of Israel. Okay, because you're seeing right now, you devils are living in our land. So, and it has been waste, which has always been waste. Why? Because you are the imposters, all right? You defiled our land, and so you're the imposters. And so you got to be, the Iranians are going to jack you fake Israelis up. Ezekiel 38:9. Thou shalt send and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud, cover the land. Thou and all thy bands, many people with thee. Right. And so that's just, once again, the big Third World War, the War of Armageddon. Okay. Now let me get into another scripture. This is for you Americans, all right, because this is what's really coming to fruition, is these nations are about to go to war with you. Okay, and once you implement that RFID chip, it's game over. Isaiah 13:1, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah son of Amos did see. Verse 2. Lift up ye a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, and they may go into the gates of the nobles. Right, and that's talking about the elite. And this is how we're shaking our hand. This is what we're telling you elites, you Illuminatis, you Rothschilds, you Rockefellers. your kingdom's going down. And once America gets rocked, everything else is going to fall. Okay? And so, we're telling you to, it's about that time. You lived it up. You had your time to rule. And now it's time for your kingdom to come down. Isaiah 13:3. I command my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. Right? And that's talking about us, the elect. All right? Coming out here and preaching this word. And once again, we are the mighty ones, and we're angry. And we're rejoicing because we're seeing prophecy being fulfilled. Verse 4. The noise of the multitude of the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms, Salakia. The noise of the multitude of the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustered the host of the battle. Right. And that's talking about all these nations. Russia, Persia, Syria, China, North Korea. Because eventually all these nations are going to look at America as the biggest problem, as the one that's causing all the turmoil, all the chaos, all the sorrows and misery. So the Lord is going to make sure that all these nations, have in their mind to destroy America. Isaiah 13:5. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation destroy the whole land. Right. And so this was coming to America. Notice that from a far country. Right. These nations live from a far country. Russia, Iran, China. All right. So they're going to come from a far country to destroy America. Okay. Verse 6. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Right. Because this is judgment. Okay. Starting with you Americans. You so-called white people. And then, of course, our people. 2/3 of you so-called black Spanish and Native Americans who are watching this and scoffing like this will never happen. All right, you're going to die here too. All right, the Russians, the Persians, all right, who are the Iranians, they're not playing games. The Lord put the spirit in them to destroy America. All right, and they're going to kill a lot of people here. And that's just part of the reality that we're facing. And so if you don't want to come to the scriptures, you're going to face that with death. All right. Let me get to another article to show you how pissed off the Russians are. Syrian rebels, CIA paid us not to attend Russian-sponsored peace talks. So there you go. Who's causing all the problems? America. Just to prove once again it's America that's causing all the problems. What are the good folks at the CIA found smuggling crack cocaine in Los Angeles doing these days? Right. It's been proven that the CIA has smuggled crack cocaine via Rick Ross, right? That whole bullshit with Iran-Contra scandal, all right? So they know. Everybody knows, except for you so-called black Spanish American. For some reason, you don't want to understand who this devil really is. Let me get to the point. It says right here, it says, Al Jazeera with the answer. Another FSA source told Al Jazeera that Turkey and the U.S. are still in to decide what form the new rebel command will assume, and added that pressure exerted on the other rebel factions to join it. He also said in January the CIA told the Free Syrian Army factions it was funding not to join the Moscow-sponsored Astana talks in which Turkey participated along with Russia, Iran, and Syria regime. High-level U.S. officials did not attend the talk. So there you have it, man. America is bent on war, which is their demise. All right, because they think that their weapon, their technology, their country is the best on the planet. Is not. The Lord put that spirit in them to be deceived. Pride goeth before destruction. I believe that's in Proverbs chapter 16. Okay, paying militants not to come to the negotiating table. Your tax dollars are right. You stupid Americans. That's your tax dollars. That's your tax dollars hard at work. Yet it is a conflict with 300,000 dead and 6 million refugees so far. But there can't be peace if Moscow is going to get some credit for it. Washington would sooner burn Syria to ground than have Russia clean up its mess. Russia, no, never. That's right. Because America is all about death and destruction, man. All right? You so-called white people in America are the problem on the planet. But it's good because the Lord put the spirit in you to do it, to fulfill prophecy. So with you doing that, what's going to happen to you, Americans? Jeremiah 50:1. The word of the Lord spake against Babylon, against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Verse 2. Declare ye among nations, and publish it. Set up a standard. Publish it, conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken. Bel is confounded. Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images are broken in pieces. Right. This is when World War III kicks off. All right. This is when Russia and Iran rock. I'll try to refrain from too much cursing, but really beat the crap out of you Americans, man. I mean, this really bring you down to naught. All right. Verse 3. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall depart, both man and beast. And who's that talking about? A nation against her. That's talking about Russia, right? Starting with Russia. But guess what? Russia has allies, which says in Ezekiel 38, right here. Persia and Ethiopia, Libya with them, all them with shield and helmet. So you Americans have a rude awakening coming, okay? You're going to get destroyed by, okay, the majority Eastern nations, okay? And so that's Europe too. The Europeans are going to rock you too. You best believe. Jeremiah 15:4. In those days and in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, and they and their children of Judah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek the Lord their power. Right, because in that day, if those that didn't believe, they're going to believe in that day. Because, the Lord has levels to this. Right now, Lord, when we part, they like, but we believe. Like, we don't need to see, okay, the destruction of this country happening, but we believe by reading the scriptures that start here at Great Millstone. But you're going to have other Israelites, when they see all this turmoil happening here in America, that's when they're going to believe, and they're going to turn to the Lord, and they'll be sealed. Because remember, we have 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe, plus the elect, the 1/3. Slakia. The elect is the 144,000, and also you have the 1/3. That's the embodiment of the elect. Okay. Continue on, verse 5. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come, and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. And that's the day we're looking for. We're looking for the day that the elect of you so-called black Spanish Native Americans, okay, wake up from that nonsense of being called black, so-called black Hispanic Native American. Say you're an Israelite. Come to the true understanding, okay, of what this Bible is all about. All right, and you're going to get it here at Great Millstone, whether you want to believe it or not. All right, and then that's when we're going to be in our kingdom, because the Lord is going to beam us up into the chariots. All right, we're going to see the destruction of our enemies, mainly the so-called white man, the rest that survived when the nukes fly, starting with the so-called white man, those that did survive. All right, he's going to go into slavery. And the rest of these heathens, they're going to go into slavery because they got to serve us like we serve them. It's only fair. That's balance. All right. Verse 6. And let me just finish off with this. Because why? My people have been lost sheep. Right. We are lost sheep. The so-called black, Hispanic, Native American, man, woman, and child are lost sheep. All right. It's only the elect are waking up. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. Right. The leaders of the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American communities have led us to go astray. All right, they didn't tell us who we were. They didn't tell us we're an Israelite. They didn't tell us about the destruction of America. They didn't tell us about the Lord being a dark man, a so-called black man. They didn't tell us none of this. All right. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. Right, because we started going into believing in these governments, all right, with our fake leaders, man, telling us to go out and vote, telling us to participate in the election process, the political process, and that's all vanity. That's not going to save you out of this, all right? The Lord's not dealing with Democrats and Republicans. He's not dealing with voting. He's not dealing with protesting about how you need reparations, you need jobs. He don't give a damn about that, all right? The Lord's only dealing with his word. And if you don't want to get back to the Bible, you're going to die here, all right? And that's talking to our 2/3. The rest is the 1/3 and the elect. Lord willing, we're a part of it. I'm a part of it. But this is what we're looking forward to. We want to go into our resting place because we did forget it. But now by doing this work, we're showing the Lord that we haven't forgotten. We want to come back. All right. And yeah, and that, that's pretty much it. Just once again, like the title, I want to bring out the title just to recap everything. Syria and North Korea, let me get to this, are bit players. Iran is a bigger threat, right? Iran and Russia are a bigger threat. And while you pay attention, man, all right, you're gonna see the hidden hand, and you're gonna see the bait and switch, because at the end of the day, it's Iran and Russia that are the main targets. Okay, the rest of these other nations are just pawns. Okay, also China's part of it, but China's gonna go with whatever Russia and Iran say, because they know that they're their allies, being that they're in the same continent as them. All right. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. Lord willing, this was uplifting. At the end of the day, seeing the nations are gathering for the final combat, the final war, which is World War III. And it's beautiful because this is the Lord's prophecy coming to fruition. All right? And with that, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Love you, brothers. Keep enduring. Keep up the faith. We're almost out of here, as you can see through these news articles. Man, prophecy is coming to light. And with that, you know our slogan: 1, 2, 3, death to America. Shalom.